We live in a world that values being sure and showing confidence above anything else. And today I'd like to reflect on the value of doubt for self growth and as the base for real self esteem. Hello, my name is Julia. I'm an expert, a life coach, an empath, and I've cuddled doubt over my many years abroad. Every time I've changed profession, I've changed my mind, and I can attest. I feel way more confident now than I did before I learned to embrace doubt as my catalyst for growth. My spiritual guide years ago taught me this. Every time you face your inadequacy, stay there. You're going to learn something. This opens a world to consider mm, regarding the value of doubt as the capacity to actually analyze and correct a stance, and the meaning of self esteem, which is not a rigid habit of never questioning ourselves, but the capacity to correct ourselves and not the arrogance of needing to be right. When we become more flexible and open to doubt, we become searching. We start looking for what's actually true, for what actually serves us. We become a researcher, and this lets us get rid of the need to be told we're always right, and it allows us to actually grow instead of attacking, avoiding, and evaluating everything that makes us feel vulnerable. So it's a great habit every time we feel uncomfortable and inadequate to sit with our discomfort, observing it without identifying with it nor fighting it until it dissolves. This solidifies the knowledge that those were just ideas, they were not pieces of us, they were just points of view, and that there is actually nothing coming to attack us. And as we train our nervous system to accept discomfort and the sensation of being wrong, we learn to grow and actually investigate facts and ideas so that we can be right more often. Especially during these times of AI, doubt is fundamental. That capacity to listen to our discomfort, facing something that doesn't feel right, that feels odd. This is a practice of tuning in to our intuition, to our synthesis of input, and to just know when something is odd, even if rationally it could be right. The Toltec principle of never taking anything personally comes to mind in this. We are not wrong, rather, our ideas were wrong, or rather, were not serving us well, were not taking us closer to the truth. So now that we can use that knowledge to make more informed choices, have opinions based on a larger source of information, and develop ideas corroborated by more experience and literature. So doubt becomes the holy medicine that keeps us young, neuroplastic, learning forever, therefore more capable of listening, of relating to other people different from us, different generations, different ethnicities, the capacity to actually be present and absorb input without coming in with preconceived ideas. Being able to find out we were wrong without collapsing, imploding, attacking, or spiraling is the perfect place to evolve and develop into something we want to be or want to do, because emotional control is the base for deep reasoning. And as a result, we develop a more real self esteem because we're not so fragile to just fall apart every time we are questioned. So we switch from a fragile state, a more childish state, to the place and the stance of a researcher that is always curious, that is always learning, and that is always ready to evolve based on new elements, based on deeper knowledge, accepting the fact that life is evolution. Life is about correcting the simplistic approach of our younger days into something that can embrace complexity, that can embrace learning and growing. So, from fragility to curiosity. A child tends to fear abandonment, and the abandonment could extend to everything they know, the vision of the world they had, the need to avoid cognitive dissonance. So, if we don't cultivate the art of doubt, we make ourselves very vulnerable to anything and manipulable, because due to the fear of having our vision of reality crumble, we would just stick to whomever tells us what we want to hear. So the art of doubt also helps us maturing while keeping us fresh, and it develops our cognitive capacities. It's an antidote to neurological aging. Of course, that is if we engage with it rather than collapsing under it. If you'd like this content, please check out my other videos in this channel. And if you'd like individual sessions with an intuitive approach to coaching, please book a spot through my website. Thank you very much for hearing me out, and see you soon.